What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Aerialbot Skydive, the final member of the Aerialbots, which is obviously they are the rivals to the Stunticons in the original G1 cartoon. But really exciting because now we can actually officially complete Superion, and I'm really excited because the full review for Superion will be in the next video. I'll also say a little disclaimer here before we get into things. I apologize if my microphone kind of goes in and out sometimes. My headset broke, and it not broke in the way that the mic doesn't work. It more or less broke where the top, the center of the actual headset part snapped sort of in half, and so it's sitting really loosely on my head. So if I accidentally cut or something, you'll know because my headset more or less probably would have fallen off my head because I can't really look down at all or even up all that well without the headset falling down. So I apologize for that. But regardless, getting into the box, you can see some very nice stuff here. You can see the Transformers, Age of the Primes. You can see the Aerialbot Skydive right there. You can see the very nice artwork here of Skydive in both his jet mode as well as in his robot mode. And you have the 5 of the 5 for Superion, 17 steps there. Nice artwork here of Superion here as well. Very nice artwork here of some of the 13 primes. You can see Vector there, Prima. I believe, I'm not exactly, I think that might be Alpha Trion in there. But regardless, take a look at the back here. You can see your very nice product shots. And I think, as per usual, Hasbro kills it with the packaging. And so, folks, without further ado, alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Aerialbot Skydive in his jet mode. And I didn't mention this at the beginning, but at the end of the day, when it comes to Skydive here, he is a remold, retool, repaint of the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Aerialbot Air Raid. And what I said in the Fireflight review, if you watch that, so I'll leave a link in the upper right as well as a link in the description if you'd like to take a look at that review. What I said with Fireflight is that I think that out of the two that released in this last wave, I think that Skydive achieved being able to feel like a more unique character, like the being a remold, retool, and repaint of another figure, way better than Fireflight being a remold, retool, repaint of Slingshot. So what I'm saying is I think that they succeeded with this remold, retool, repaint much more than they did Air Raid. And so what we're going to do is, because we're going to compare them both, actually I'll put a picture of how the jet mode appeared on screen right now, and I'll say that it looks really good. When you look at the jet mode in the show and then you look at the jet mode that we have here, it looks really solid, and I think you guys can agree with that with the picture on screen right now. What we're going to do is, because this guy's a remold, retool, repaint of Air Raid, we're going to bring Air Raid in. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is with Air Raid. And so when we're taking a look at Air Raid here, Air Raid and Skydive, the major difference that you can see right away, one of them is the nose cone in terms of the paint and everything like that, obviously, and the paint in general. Difference, though, another one is the wings. You can definitely see the wings are different here on both of them. In addition, you only have two of these. You have two of these on the back of Air Raid and one of these on the back of Skydive. And then we look at the bottom, there really isn't that much more difference. The only other major difference really is the head and maybe a little bit of sculpting in the chest. You can see when you're looking at the bottom, you can see the chest is definitely different. Obviously, you have Skydive has the Autobot logo here, and the molding in here is a little bit different. You can see that molding in there is a well, actually, no, it's not different at all. It just looks different with a little bit of a darker red color. But regardless, you can see the Autobot logo on his chest instead of the center of his chest here with Air Raid, which obviously is his landing gear right now. But for the most part, they actually haven't changed all too much. The other thing that's definitely different are the guns. Now, these are more accurate to Skydive, absolutely they are. And that was one thing that I said in the Fireflight review that I didn't like, is when you look at Fireflight, Fireflight doesn't have different guns that represent the ones that he had in the show. He just has the same exact ones the Slingshot did. And because of how the paint is with this, because of the differences in the molding, despite this honestly having maybe about the same, if not less, remolding, retool, repainting than Fireflight, I still think it achieves a much more unique looking character, considering it is a remold, repaint, and retool. So overall, when it comes to the alt mode, I think it's really well done, and I think it represents the character beautifully. And so because we kind of already have Air Raid out here, we are going to do our normal other size comparison. So setting Skydive off to the side here. Alrighty, folks, here he is with the Transformers Legacy United Infernac Universe Deluxe Class Magnus. As you can see, just like when I did the Air Raid review, this is an average deluxe size jet, and so if you're expecting whatever you see with Air Raid, you're definitely getting here with Skydive. And then finally, for a quick little comparison, here he is with his Wavemate, Transformers Age of the Primes, Deluxe Class Aerialbot Firefly. As you can see, these two do look really, really nice together. And again, I think they really did a very good job of making Skydive feel both very unique in both his robot as well as his jet mode here. And so you'll definitely see that when we get to the robot mode. But here in the jet mode, he does look really, really nice. Alrighty, folks, and time to get into the transformation. Now, the transformation for this guy is not really that different at all. The only difference is that because he has one wing and not two, and plus you don't have to twist this wing when you're doing the transformation. That's all I have to say, really. But the transformation that Air Raid has is the exact same, so sort of very similar to Fireflight's review. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the Air Raid review if you wish to take a look at the transformation for Air Raid. But it's very simple, nothing too crazy, maybe a little too simple, but overall, it still achieves a really solid robot mode. And so at the end of the day, what we're going to do is we are going to use editing, and we're going to take Skydive from looking like this in his jet mode and into this in his robot mode. And when we take a look at Skydive in his robot mode, this is where I think that new character really comes out, or the unique character really comes out, because when we're looking at this, and I'm going to send them off to the side so you guys can actually see the actual picture of Skydive, just like with Fireflight, there really wasn't anything they needed to do insanely in terms of the remolding, retooling, repainting, because obviously the Aerialbots are all very similar in terms of how they look and everything like that. However, at the end of the day, I think they got a lot wrong with Firefly, particularly in his legs. But again, I attributed that to the fact that where does all the white come from if you watch the review, right? But it still doesn't excuse the figure for not being as accurate as I would have liked it to be. And so with Skydive here, he looks really, really good. They didn't need to do much to change him from Air Raid, but he looks like his own character, and I really do love that. And to show you, the guns can go very simply into his hands like so, just like they do with Air Raid and any of the other Aerialbots as well. But he looks really, really solid, and I'm very, very happy to have this guy. So taking a look at the details here, you can see the head sculpt is very, very nice. This is obviously the big standout. Looks really, really good. The orange looks nice, the blue, the nice neutral face looks solid. Then you go down here, it's just pretty much all the same as Air Raid. It looks really, really good. There's nothing crazy about it, but it does represent the character very nicely. See, the wings on the back also look pretty nice overall. So when it comes to this guy, I'm pretty happy with the details, and now they actually made him feel like a unique character despite him being a remold, retool, and repaint of Air Raid. And so what we're going to do is we are going to set this guy off to the side here. We're going to do our size comparisons. First off, here he is with the Transformers Legacy United and Infernac Universe Deluxe Class Magnius. Again, average deluxe size, nothing crazy. The Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Aerialbot Fireflight. And finally, his Moldmate, Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Aerialbot Air Raid. And as you can see, this is where all the differences lie for the most part, right? You can see the head sculpts are different. A little bit of the obviously in the chest is going to be a bit different where the Autobot logo is. But other than that, everything else remains the same. Just obviously the little details here and there really aren't that much different. But again, I think they really achieved Skydive's look overall when it comes to this figure. And I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Alright, you guys, now time to go into the articulation. The articulation's pretty solid. It's nothing crazy, but just like it's the same exact as Air Raid. So heads on like a ball joint, so you can go up and down a little bit, and you can actually go back because of the transformation for the actual, transforming into Superion. You do a full 360 here. You can do full 360 here, up, down, 90-degree bend at the elbow, rotation at the upper part of the elbow as well. No wrist articulation, but you do have full waist, which is nice. Have that, and then you can kick forward about that far, back about that far, knee bend here about 90, rotation to the upper part of the thigh, then you have ankle rock or pivot as well, and then the wings can also go back and forth like so, just so you can give yourself some more clearance. So overall, when it comes to Skydive's articulation, nothing crazy, but it gets exactly what needs to get done, and it's the bog standard for pretty much what most Transformers should have nowadays, and so I think it's pretty good. Alrighty, folks, when it comes to his transformation back into, well, the reverse transformation back into his jet mode, it's pretty simple. Very similar. It's the same exact thing as Air Raid. Again, the only difference really is the wings on the back, because Skydives don't turn. But what we're going to do is we're going to take Skydive from looking like this in his robot mode and back into this in his jet mode. Alrighty folks, so for my final and concluding thoughts on the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Aerialbot Skydive, the final member of the Aerialbots that we need for Superion, this guy is probably in my opinion, is better than Fireflight in terms of just like the execution of the new remold, retool, and repaint, but that doesn't excuse the sort of like same issues I had with Air Raid, and so those issues will also apply here. So very similar to the transformation, I didn't mention this, but if you wish to look at my sort of conclusion with Air Raid, definitely go take a look at the Air Raid review, which will also be linked in the description below, so you can do for the transformation, as well as my issues with this mold. But overall, what I think this figure does really well is it does take that mold and it makes it into a brand new character, and I think that they really achieved it better than Slingshot being remolded, retooled, and repainted into Fireflight. And so overall, when it comes to this figure, I'm not going to give it any higher score than Air Raid, but I will have it the exact same. I'll give it a 7.5, and I would recommend this, especially if you're trying to, well, guess what, complete Superion, because you're going to definitely need it to complete Superion. And so at the end of the day, I did pick mine up on Big Bad Toy Store, so leave a link in the description of that. Also leave links down below to Hasbro Pulse, as well as Amazon if you wish to look at those retailers instead. And yeah, I think that's really it for the review. Would I recommend this to you? I mean, I would also wish that if you decide to hunt this guy IRL, I imagine he should be hitting retailers relatively soon, so definitely be on the lookout, and happy hunting if you do decide to go it that way. But I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video review, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.